What is going on, everybody? We're back here again at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right?
Yes, we are. We're still here, even though we're not here with many other people. But we're here after this great, exciting matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. What was the final score?
It was 37-34.
Okay.
And it was a great game. Don't get me wrong. It was just we were on the losing side of it, right? But, I mean, it was probably, at least for the two of us, the most entertaining game of the year, even though it ended in a loss today.
It was. This game had a lot of good things, had a lot of bad things.
It sure did, yeah.
Had a lot of good things.
A lot of bad things.
Right,
on the roller coaster of emotions that are going through our heads right now, right?
Yeah. So, hey, here's what happened. We have another video that we did for the post-game recap, which included us talking about the game in a little bit more detail, going over some stats, and also sharing with you all some of the coach's comments, Steve Wilkes, after the game. So if you missed that, just look at our channel, go back, and I'll put a link in this description as well so you can see that video of the, again, player interviews, coach, and some more stats and details.
Yep.
This video right here is strictly
for all of you.
Did we both point at the same time? Point for you.
I think that was in sync, right?
I think it was.
We could get it,
I
right?
think it was pretty good to be in sync. So we're just going to go right into the comments here and talk with you guys because we care.
Yes.
Shaqid Bartol back with Eddie Pinheiro. So Shaq doesn't like Eddie after he missed the field goals. I say field goals because one was an extra point. Missed the extra point, missed the field goal. Shaq, if I can call you Shaq instead of Shackhead, hopefully you're okay with that.
Yeah.
I just don't have the best pronunciation the more I say. But in my opinion, I don't think that he's going to be in any kind of danger. He's been pretty good. And he didn't miss those kicks by like a ton.
Yeah.
That was like
shanked to the
ridiculous.
left.
Yeah. So I feel like guys, especially kickers, can get in a little rut. And I feel like he had his rut today. We'll watch him in practice. Well, I can't, but coaches will watch him in practice. And I think, I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to bring in another kicker to kind of put the heat on him. But we shall see.
We shall see. I mean, time will tell with that one. That is for sure. Yep, Thomas Haynes, that's who it was. Thomas Haynes, you called it on our pregame show. 300 yards for P.J. Walker today. Yeah, 318.
318.
So, I mean, that was a pretty good performance out of him today. And look at you, having the foresight to predict the future, if you will, with that.
Yeah, and I could be like I don't know if it's called a pessimistic, a negative person, but it was only because of DJ Moore's catch.
Yeah.
But, you know, things are what they are because of what happened, right? So you got your over 300 yards, good prediction. Maybe you won something on Vegas for that or not. Hopefully so. We're here for you, though.
I mean, that play by itself was 65 yards. And he launched that thing from that opposite end of the 35-yard line, and it still had plenty of clearance as it made it into the end zone. I mean, that was a heck of a throw. Probably one of the best throws that we've seen this season. I don't know if that's just me hyping it up or not, or being a little biased, but for me at least, that was a heck of a play.
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible. Let's continue to go through some of these questions here. Chris Johnson, what's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. I mean, quite a performance. Quite a shocking performance, so we're here for you, you know, to get out some of the emotions that we're feeling right now, right?
Yeah, and hey, if you haven't done so, here's the plug, right? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It helps us continue to get players on the show, which we will have a few good ones on the show tomorrow.
So,
Just
right?
a few good ones, yeah. Maybe one of the best Panthers ever, but, you know, if you don't subscribe, turn on the bell notification, you may miss it. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, okay, and turn on the bell notification just in case you're sleeping and you forget.
Or you're
wake
at
you
work and you're on the way home and you don't have your phone readily available. They'll hit you up and be like, hey, get on your phone while you're driving home. But be responsible about it, right?
Yeah. All right, Bryce Jones, we need Nick.
How do you even pronounce that?
I didn't even try. We need Nick to be the kicker. He's had a good day in Pittsburgh.
I'm assuming he's the backup for, oh, God, I can't even remember the place kicker's name.
Look to your right. Hurry, look to your right. Look to your right.
Oh,
duck.
Oh! Is that what Eddie Pinheiro was dealing with earlier today? It's like we're seeing something that took place in Tennessee. They're taking the goalpost away, and they're taking it away and going away with it. Oh, man, why am I blanking on the place kicker for Pittsburgh?
You don't have to know the place.
Man.
Let me just go ahead and address all the place kicker talk, and we'll be here for about 15 minutes for you guys, 20 minutes in total. I just don't think that we need to replace a kicker after one game. It was still one game. If you replace people after one, he could say, well, he has just one job.
Yeah.
So does DJ Moore, right? He dropped the pass today. So does PJ Walker. He has one job. He had an interception. He didn't look too good. So you got to give these guys a chance to have a bad game. Everybody does it. Certainly every kicker does it. Man, I can't remember that guy's name. He may be in Baltimore right now. Is it Tuck?
Justin Tucker.
Yeah, he's like one of the greatest ever of consistency.
And even he is human, and he'll have bad games. I mean, he had a missed field goal a couple weeks ago, and everybody was like, no way, he just missed a field goal.
Right. I mean, he's like the exception to the rule. And he's old too, right?
He's like in his, we'll say 32, 33 range.
Really?
I want to say.
Okay. All
so,
right.
I mean, he's been around for at least a decade now. But, again, these are human beings. Human beings are going to make some mistakes, and unfortunately for Eddie Pinheiro, it kind of happened at the most pivotal point in the game. So that's where a lot of the emotion and all the angst, if you will, is coming out from a lot of the fans. But he's going to have a bounce-back game, I hope.
That's fair to say. And let me go ahead and go to this so I can. Okay, people having some fun over there.
A lot of activity.
Donald Duck says, Eddie, he had 2 chances. 2. So I get it. All right. So I do get that we should be upset with Eddie today. I don't disagree. You know, he did have not one, but two chances.
Yep.
And, you know, being here watching it live, I'm just going to tell you, like, all the media guys and girls, just to be politically correct here, were just like, can this just be over? Can this end? Can we win? Let's go home.
Yeah.
Right? So after that, like, I'm just talking about my emotions watching the game. Feel free to share yours as well. But you're watching the game, and I'm like, as a journalist, you're like, okay, we're going to go into the locker room. We're going to talk to DJ, and I'm going to do this. Okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to change it to do this. Oh, I don't know what we're going to do. I just need this game to be over. But when we had the interception in overtime, I was like, yes, I want us to win. I need us to win.
In sight, right?
Yeah, I was like, yes. And I mean, I like to get perspective. And I know you can't see, but we were in the press box right about
up
here.
There, in that
and
corner
this
there.
play happened here. So we had a pretty good view, and it was coming towards us. And I'm like, yes. And some media were cheering for him to just take it to the house and end the game right there, right? They come out, and they run the ball, and you're like, okay. Well, I don't know exactly. I could look it up. A 30-something yarder, right?
33 yarder.
33 yarder. And I really had no thoughts at all about what if he missed it. Did you have any thoughts about whether he was going to make it or miss it?
You know, what's funny is I was literally prepping the tweet to say, Eddie Pinheiro just banged a 30-yard field goal to win the game, and then the kick went up, and I was like, what? Did that just happen? And it's funny, too, because, like, also at the end of the fourth quarter, we were sitting right by Will Kunkel, and he was literally just about to get ready. Like, hey, you know,
we all were.
Yeah, unplug the computer, get our equipment ready, because everybody was going to start heading down to the pressers and get their interviews and all that. And then when Pinheiro missed the extra point, he's like, man, got to plug my computer back in. Had to do a 180. And so we were literally like, at least on 2 separate occasions, we're like, man, it's about to happen, and then it didn't, and we had to realign ourselves to, you know, accommodate for what just happened on the field there. I mean, it was insane. I mean, it was just unbelievable what took place today.
And I'm going to read these stats, and then we're going to go back into this Q&A, because that's why we're here, is just specifically for you. This is how back and forth this game was. After this, is this the second half? Yeah, after the half. This seems a little weird.
Because it was 14-10 at halftime, right?
All right, here. Okay, my screen order was backwards. So here we go. In the second half, we then suddenly had Falcons touchdown, Panthers touchdown, Falcons field goal, Panthers touchdown, Falcons touchdown. Then we had on downs where we didn't do anything. Then the Falcons field goal, Panthers touchdown, in the half, overtime interception, missed field goal, Falcons field goal, and the game is. If that is not the most tennis match back and forth, crazy.
It was a shootout in the second half.
Yeah, I can't say ever, but to watch that in person at this point, you know, I will say this, and maybe you guys are gonna be like, here's Chris trying to be all optimistic.
Right.
Did we have a game like this with Coach Rule right? I still feel like this was still, at the end of the day, we're going to be, after we get over it a little bit, maybe another hour.
Yeah.
So it was still like competitive. They still fought. We got some things to fix, but I don't feel like we need to go and fire everybody.
Yeah. Not at
That's
this
how
point.
I feel.
Yeah, and again, like, it was just that word that kept getting thrown around. Resiliency. Back against the wall, and they kept going, and they did not let any sort of adversity deter them from trying to get back into this game. And that's part of the reason why it was such a shootout in the second half, because it was just responding to what Atlanta did and being able to say, hey, we can do what they just did, and we'll do it even better. Of course, it didn't end up being a win, but it's just that fight and that grit that they had, that keep pounding spirit. It was a beauty to see. Even though it wasn't in a win, I mean, you still had to respect them for the effort that they put up here today. It's pretty incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's continue to go through some of the comments here. You're going to laugh at this one.
My man. This is literally the first guy that you think about after what just took place. Donald Duck, how's Golden Corral? I'm assuming he's doing all right. I don't know if he was with the team today or if he was at home. I mean, I guess he's doing all right. Don't know. I can't say personally, but I hope he's doing well. I don't know about you, Chris.
Yeah, he didn't travel with the team today, so I don't have any updates or spottings of Matt Corral that I could provide to you today. And let me see if there's any other updates that I can give you really quick. No, I can't. So Shaq asked about an update on Dante Jackson. I don't have any updates for you yet on that. Likely we'll have one tomorrow. Probably nothing too in-depth, as I'm sure Coach Steve Wilkes is now. He always talks very lightly on Monday about injuries and then say, we'll know tomorrow. And you're like, well, we're off on Tuesdays. And like, well, officially on Wednesday. So that's the kind of cycle that you could expect there with that Dante Jackson injury.
Wednesday will be the day. We'll have more information on his condition. But it didn't look too promising because he got carted off the field. His ankle, he's been having ankle injuries throughout his entire career. So it remains to be seen what happens with him, and time will tell.
Yep, time will tell. Hey, Chris, DJ Moore dropped the pass, and he made up for it with the TD catch. We should not be happy with Eddie because he missed a 33-yard field goal kick in overtime and did a bird land on his leg, Chris.
Oh, man, you're really going after him. I mean, I get it. 2 missed field goals, an extra point, and then a regular field goal, but
Josh Shope, the urban outdoorsman, kicker. You have one job. What is that one job? And he does have. Like, again, I can't say that you should not be mad. So, hey, we're here for you. Bring the comments. If you got some
frustration,
Eddie Pinheiro frustration, put in the comments. We'll give you a shout out. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Whatever you got to say, we're here for you for about another 10 minutes. There's like nobody here.
It just got really quiet in here.
It's been loud all day.
It's actually kind of peaceful.
It is. Kind of like we'll just lay down right here, throw a sheet over us. Somebody take us back in the morning.
Teleport us to Charlotte tomorrow morning, right?
Thomas Hayes says Wilkes still has his team playing hard.
I think that's really the moral of what these 3 games have been to start out for his time here in Carolina. He has them playing competitive football. And, whether it ends in a win or a loss, that remains to be seen, of course, as we move through the season. But you have to take that into consideration as you move forward into the future when you look for a new head coach. And you have to factor that into your decision as to whether or not you want to keep him. I mean, that's one of the key indicators. They're playing hard for him. And he has that locker room. He has their attention. And he has a voice in every single one of those guys' heads. So you got to give them credit for that and, really the work that he's done so far, even though it hasn't been the prettiest up to this point.
I got a quote from you guys, for you guys here from Eddie P.
Okay.
I call him
the man of the hour.
The man of the hour.
At this point.
All right. Here's a quote from Eddie Pinheiro. It hurts. I love this team, and I know they've got my back, and I know it's not going to define me as a kicker. Everybody misses kicks. Unfortunately, my time was today. I'm going to be bounced back and be ready to kick.
And that's the right attitude. I mean, you got to move forward. You got to move on. You had a bad day. All right. You got to move on. Got to correct the mistakes and get ready to play Cincinnati. And I think that's, again, with Steve Wilkes, that's the kind of tone and the kind of structure that he has. You make a mistake, move on, fix it, and keep going at it until, the game is over or whatever it may be, practice is over or whatever.
Panthers buzz, FSU 23, kicker was paid off. Investigation ensues.
So who would have paid him off, though?
Arthur Blank,
Arthur?
the owner of the Falcons.
Oh, man.
He has big pockets. Is
sure
he the Home
does.
Depot owner, I believe?
He's somebody. I don't know what he owns, but the man has some thick pockets in the billions. So, I mean, it was pretty cool to be a part of, what took place on the field today, because I was thinking in my head, man, I'm on the field right now with 2 billionaires right now.
You are.
It's crazy to think about, just to put things into perspective.
And the man of the people.
And the man of the people, right?
Some people say.
Man, a little starstruck right now.
Taima Jenkins says, great game today. We'll be home soon.
We will be home.
Relatively. We'll be home today.
Yeah.
Today.
I mean, it's looking like midnight, depending on how the traffic is.
Yeah.
We will be home soon. And to everybody out there, I don't know what I was going to say.
That's all right. There's a lot of people
there you
walking
go,
by.
yeah.
Josh Shope says, DJ, run to the sideline and celebrate. Come on, man. You think he might make? Do they still do that segment?
Come
Keyshawn,
on, man.
yeah,
they
still
do
it
that every Monday. So he'll definitely
be
make
on
an
it?
appearance, I feel like. But can I just say this?
Say it.
In
you got to
his
say?
defense, how else
You got to
would
defend DJ Moore
Yes, in that situation.
of taking off his helmet.
Yes.
Something
without
that
a
has
doubt.
clearly been in the rule
I
book
get it,
forever, since he's
it's-
probably been playing since he's like this tall. Now he's a grown man. He knows what the rules say about celebrations.
I understand that, but how else are you supposed to respond in that situation? And we have
There's
this
only one way
conversation.
is take off your helmet. Then he could have done the exact same thing that he did with his helmet on.
Okay, well then-
People do the Lambo leap all day with their helmet. I'm
Yeah.
going in on you, Andre.
And I'm going to go in on you too, because I'm going to have this discussion here.
Okay.
And be like, well, and you even brought it up yourself too. Tom Brady does the same thing as well, where he takes off the helmet and, nobody says anything about it. So, I mean, again, I don't want to bring up the whole double standard argument, but I mean, there is some quirks with how some of these rules are enforced. And also at the same time, you're a human being. You just made a big play to potentially win the game, and you're telling me you have to be stoic, you can't show any emotion?
No, it's that you can't take off your helmet. Tell me how many other players, there was 16 games today?
Yeah.
Right? Full slate of games, 32 teams, 16 games today. There's some great catches, I'm sure, that's going to be on SportsCenter.
absolutely.
And you tell me how many of those people took off their helmet in
Well,
celebration.
how many of those people were in that situation?
When Odell Beckham made his catch that broke the internet
Okay.
with one hand, did he take his helmet off
But
and get a
it
penalty?
didn't win the game, though. It was just a regular play in the second quarter.
DJ
And again-
didn't win the game yet. He
but
tied it.
Again, the potential to win the game, right?
Was then thwarted because he took off his helmet, gets a 15-yard penalty, and now he has his place kicker.
But then the argument becomes
now he has his place
Pinheiro-
kicker about to be fired
but
because he
Pinheiro
wanted
has
to show
make that kick, Chris. I mean, but regardless, I mean, there's equal blame to be shared wherever you may lie on that, conundrum there. DJ Moore has some blame to share, so does Eddie Pinheiro. And there are opportunities by multiple players today to take advantage of what was there, and, it's equally shared, I feel like.
Do you think that Eddie's pissed off at DJ?
No, he shouldn't be.
Because he put him in that position.
He's in no position.
He put him in that position to be like, hey, now you got to kick an extra point that's from a mile away, and everybody's going to be pissed off at you because it's an extra
But
point.
it's a
if it was
makeable
a
kick,
but if
though.
it was a field goal,
Yeah.
people would still be disappointed, but they wouldn't be as pissed off because it was an extra point, and DJ put him in that position.
I get that, but again, that is a makeable field goal in a dome. That's just my personal opinion.
Hey,
Some of the emotions coming out here, some of this stuff that's up here is coming out a little bit.
just so you
but-
guys know, I was so tired during the game,
Yeah.
wondering how I was going to make it. I feel like I just got some kind of boost of energy from nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fall asleep in the car like before we even get out of here, talking about this celebration here.
Man, y'all should have seen him during the game up at the press box.
I was on the struggle bus.
He was like zooming back this way in the chair, and then he was like stretching out. It was quite entertaining, but it worked, right?
I made it through it. Tama Johnson,
Yeah.
exactly. Run to the sideline and celebrate. 15-yard penalty?
I will say, to her defense, she did bring up a really good argument.
What's that?
Keep the helmet on and then just keep on moving along. I mean, because I know y'all had that conversation while it was happening, in the
Right.
heat of the emotion,
Right.
heat of everything that was taking place. But I mean, she did make a fair point there. I mean, both sides of the argument I can see, but for me personally, again, human emotions. For me, it's gonna take precedent whether it's against the rule or not. Because I mean, again, how else are you supposed to react? And again, you're gonna have people saying, "Keep the helmet on, keep the helmet on," but that was just an unprecedented play that just took place. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
What do you guys think about Shi Smith and Laviska Shenault? Lack of touches. They flashed early in the season, but not so much now. So here's what I'm going to share with you. We'll split this up. I want to talk about Shi Smith. Now I want to talk about Laviska. But let me go ahead and first show you the stats. I'm not sure which screen it is that I'm going to have these stats up, so bear with me on these screen flashes that you see here.
Third time's the charm.
So Laviska Shenault actually had 5 catches on 6 targets. Shi Smith had 0 receptions on one target. All right. So in terms of lack of opportunity, Shenault had several.
He did.
Smith only had 1. I said this last week, and I'll say it again about Shi Smith, is that he is unfortunately not turning his preseason, his OTAs, his training camp performances into results for the game.
Yeah.
You know, he came out at the beginning. He's at times been the number 2 guy. Mm-hmm. He's at times been targeted a lot, and he just hasn't made the connection. Now, I haven't gone back and watched the tape from the day to see if he's not getting separation, how's he running his routes, things like that. But for me, I feel like, unfortunately, it's not that Shi Smith is being shunned, if you will. Mm-hmm. He's just not being in a position to get the touches and to capitalize on them. And fortunately, today he did do a little bit better in that punt return game, because I was starting to really get upset with him in regards to that punt return game. But I feel like Terrace Marshall Jr. was the other guy. It's been several, because you could kind of throw in Rashard Higgins, but we really haven't seen him much at all. But Terrace Marshall Jr. is the other person that we were all wanting to see. Hey, he's a high-round draft pick. He didn't have much to play last year. Where is he at this year? Matt Rule, when he was here, saying, hey, he's had a good week of practice. Hey, he's had a good week of practice. I think Terrace Marshall is potentially could be seeing himself coming to being a solid number 2 wide receiver.
And I hope that takes place because, again, you make that investment. You traded up in the second round to get him. Mm-hmm. You brought him in for a reason. So we can only hope that that takes place. And I know with Laviska Shenault, you know, that's somebody that they traded for a couple weeks ago, and you know he's had his
a little bit more than a
flashes.
couple weeks ago. Not to pick at you.
Months, but, sorry,
it's a lot going on today.
Still a doozy after what took place today. But, I mean, you know, he had his opportunities today. Of course, he had the 5 receptions for 30 yards. But I feel like they're not giving him opportunities to stretch the ball down the field and have
Shenault?
Yeah, with Shenault. A lot of the catches that he had today were just on screen passes, and they were really relying on his after-the-catch ability to break away and, you know, kind of make the play for himself. So, you know, he had his opportunities today, but were they fair opportunities? I mean, that remains to be seen. You can kind of make that dictation for yourself. But, I mean, he is getting more touches. He's finally healthy. So I think over the course of the season as we move forward, you know, those hosts of guys that we were talking about, Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, Laviska, hopefully Rashard Higgins can get included into that as well. They'll be getting some more touches, and I think the team knows that as well. They have to get them involved somehow, some way.
I wanted to bring this up, but I want to get to the comments. I was going to say, what do you think about who should be the starting quarterback next week? Don't answer that. We're here working for you guys, all right? So we're going to keep going through.
I have my answer.
Through some of these. All right. Taima says, that kicker, though. And then she says, one job. Come on. Okay. All right.
Maybe he'll be on Come On Man tomorrow.
The kicker?
Yeah.
We'll have maybe the whole team will be on there tomorrow, right?
We have 2 prime candidates. So, I mean, ESPN Monday Night Countdown, if you're watching, we just did your job for you. So, hey.
One job, man. B. Evans, Auburn lost. Anderson Silva lost. Panthers lost. I need a drink. DJ got to be more disciplined. I feel bad for him, actually. Long flight home. You know, DJ Moore was seen with my own 2 eyes after the game on the bench.
Yeah.
He was on that bench for a long time.
They showed it on the broadcast.
They showed it on the broadcast? Yeah. Pretty much everybody was we actually had some players were down the tunnel, and he was just sitting on that bench. And I'm sure reflecting, I'm sure being like, damn, you know, that hurt, that I did that I know better. But he's probably like, but I felt so good. So,
right?
That's what he's saying.
Well, and the other part of it, too, he rarely shows emotion. He's a very stoic player, so the fact that he showed that kind of emotion in that moment of the game, I mean, it's pretty rare of him to do such a thing like that. So, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of debate surrounding what took place at the end of the game, but got to move on at some point. You know, that's the way that I look at it. I mean, I think he has that thought process too, where he's just going to have to move forward and, you know, try to do it again next week, right?
Yeah, yeah. Another quick plug. Again, this is just a Q&A. We did another video that you'll see in the description in case you missed the post-game show that we normally do, where we have coach interviews and we talk a little bit more about stats. So if you didn't see it, just look in the description, go back, check it out, and watch that. And we're just going to go through some more of these questions here. I'm going to say for about another 5 minutes, because if they cut off the lights here, it's going to be a little scary.
Right.
I don't think we're in danger of that, but it's just as quiet as it is now compared to what kind of noise levels we've been going through today.
It's a big stadium too.
It's a little weird.
I'm not used to this, all the all the commotion over here. So
Donald Duck says more victory. This isn't Remember the Titans. This is a record win league, but the NFC South is still open, just somewhat getting upset against the Bengals. All right, we'll keep on moving through here.
Positive.
Not kidding about the investigation. Eddie was paid off.
Oh, you're doubling down. I see that. My, oh my.
What's happening, guys? That was our game to lose. Other than what happened, we looked good.
Okay. Yeah, and there were some moments in the game that we could take away from, and that we did relatively well in.
Underground West, it was more on Eddie.
I think a lot of people are picking his side there.
Shecky, please have Agent 89, Steve Smith, to tell Eddie Pinheiro to ice up Son on your show tomorrow. We can ask him about Eddie Pinheiro. We can ask him.
Well, yeah, but we're not going to say that.
Well, we'll give him the opportunity to respond how he wishes if he chooses to say ice up.
Because we have to be objective in the way that we ask our questions.
Has he said that term lately, ice up? I think he stayed away from it. I don't know for sure.
At a Monday night game.
48 yards still can be made, though, yes.
That is a very true point.
None of us can kick. All of us can keep a helmet on.
Oh, my God. That's one way to look at it, right? That fair point.
Underground West said field goal kicker had one job and blew it.
Ugh. A lot of people, I feel like, are having a Lindo Mare flashbacks after the kick that he missed.
Yeah.
Because remember, this was way back in like 2011 in Cam Newton's first season in the NFL, where he had like a 31-yard field goal to win the game. And everybody's like, man, that kick was so close. You could have made it. You were right there. I feel like a lot of people today are having that same feeling of what just took place with Pinheiro missing his 33-yarder today.
Rodney W. says PJ
is legit.
So let's go ahead and end on this.
Yeah.
Unless, did we have some more questions?
That could be it right there.
That was it. So,
yeah.
All right, I'll go first. Should PJ Walker continue to be our quarterback going into the next game versus the Cincinnati Bengals? Well, we know Sam Darnold isn't really in contention to be that quarterback yet.
In your eyes, or just overall?
Well, I feel like overall, because he wasn't even dressed. I think he still might have another week to go before his 21 days are up. No, he has up to 21 days.
Yeah.
So I guess technically he could be eligible. But Baker Mayfield. So, my thoughts right now, and I'm still dealing with the thoughts from this game right here. PJ Walker today, I still liked him today more than what I've seen with Baker Mayfield. Because the things that I saw with Baker Mayfield was that I'm trying to think how to put this into words, right? Baker had some target issues, some accuracy issues, right? PJ Walker had some accuracy issues too, but he only kind of had it in that first half.
Yeah.
And then he improved, and he had a very respectable second half. And what I like about any player, and I had said this comment before about Baker Mayfield, is like, considering what had happened with the with the drop pass to DJ Moore earlier, consider what happened when he had an interception that went right into the hands of somebody else and was returned for a pick six. He didn't come back and just go crazy. He still slung that ball to DJ to give them a chance to win. There goes the lights that I was talking about. But we have our own lights. So
Halloween is coming up, everybody.
So we're still good here. Since we said we're in it, I'll go ahead and give it to you since the lights are going off now.
I'm just going to say it right off the bat. PJ Walker will start next week against Cincinnati.
What?
I'm going to say it right now.
Okay.
With conviction. and I'm not going to even go back on what I said. Because, again, the common word that was used today by everybody, including myself, is resiliency. He showed a lot of resiliency today after the performance he had in the first half. He had a lot of missed throws, a lot of overthrown balls, but after he had that touchdown drive, I believe in the second quarter, where he started to complete some passes and really started to gain some confidence and gain a rhythm, that really allowed him to play the kind of game that he had today. And I think moving forward, for me personally, he gives us the best chance to win football games. Baker Mayfield, yes, you have the number 1 overall pick over his head. He was that guy, but I just never got that, fight back mentality from him. He did in the first game against Cleveland.
Yeah, he
but
did.
When they were down in all these other games, it just felt like he was making an attempt, but nothing ever materialized. And Sam Darnold, we all know the Sam Darnold thing. So for me personally, P.J. Walker is going to be the guy for now moving forward.
P.J. Walker will be on the show tomorrow. All right, so if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Let me just support Andre here with some stats. First half, second half of P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
First half, P.J. Walker was 6 for 15, 67 yards, passer rating of 26.3. So that is well under 50% passing in that first half. Second half, 13 of 21. Quick numbers, take a second. But he was 13 of 21 in that second half, 250 yards, 19-yard average, passer rating of 119.
Wow.
So that was as night and day of a performance as you can get in resilience, which I know you liked, right?
Yeah.
So, want to go ahead and wrap up?
Yeah.
Did you have something else?
I mean, I covered everything that I could cover there in that situation. So, I mean, that was my opportunity to plug for P.J. Walker being on our live stream tomorrow. But to wrap it all up, I mean, what a day today. Even though it ended in a loss, I know there's a lot of emotions out there, and I hope that we were able to at least let out some of those emotions today. But yeah, it was quite a performance today. Even though it didn't end in a win, it was definitely an entertaining game. So for everybody out there who's watching today, for Chris Jenkins, I'm Andre Cassidy. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see all of you tomorrow.